I do want to, however, hit what is going on in your town there and what it looks like, and what the lack of sports means for the community there. Brent, I want to give you the floor and talk about people who are affected and what we should know about in your estimation.
Well, full disclosure now, I drove out of Las Vegas and I'm up at our place in Montana with the family. But I have spoken to people who are on the scene. Derek Stevens, who owns several casinos downtown and is building the new one on Fremont Street, Circa, and is a huge sports fan. He was the first to alert me to the fact that the Strip was virtually deserted. And following that, about 24 hours later, of course, MGM and Wynn both announced that they were shutting down their casinos for the time being. Now, when MGM shuts down, Rich, that involves 20 separate casinos. They also own the Bellagio, the Mirage, and you can go on and on with the list, including 3 casinos right there around the T-Mobile Center where the Vegas Golden Knights were playing, and Mandalay Bay, which is right across from Interstate 15 from where Eisen Stadium is being built. Now, work continues on Allegiant Stadium, and much construction outside, of course, keeps the workers a little bit away from each other. There's not collection of workers, but as they get closer and closer to putting on the roof, and it's a permanent roof, it's not retractable. When they do that, then, of course, there will be a cluster of workers on the inside. Now, everybody around the Raiders keeping their fingers crossed that construction will not slow down. And on August 22nd, which is a Saturday, Garth Brooks is due to have a concert in Allegiant Stadium. Whether or not there will be a preseason game or whether or not UNLV is able to play California, which is a game on the schedule before that, none of us really know. The first date that has been scheduled, and again, it's for the time being when you're everything that's going on, is August 22nd, and they hope they can get it done. Now, Derek Stevens told me that downtown, and of course these are issues which caused New York, Illinois, Ohio to close down their restaurants and their bars. There were large crowds gathering around the casinos on Fremont Street. Now, of course, in view of the fact that the CDC wants clusters of 50 people broken up and basically to stay apart and don't socialize as much, they feel that that's one of the weapons in fighting this horrible virus. I would guess that the crowds down there will start to fade away. Obviously, it's going to be an enormous hit on the city of Las Vegas, and I feel so badly as everyone else does for the part-time workers and those who are being laid off. I saw that Wynn was trying to keep on as many employees as they could. Meanwhile, MGM has already started announcing layoffs, and of course they're much bigger with all the properties that they have. The local casinos such as Stations, the South Point where the VSiN's studio is, owned by Michael Gaughan, they are still open. The restaurants are still open, but the crowds are way down. And, of course, the casinos depend on large crowds. Conventions have been canceled, most of them. None of the conventioneers will be coming to Las Vegas, and we don't know when that will get repaired and restored. But it's an example of the financial hit that the entire country is going to take as a result of this. You can feel for the airline industry and their employees, certainly the cruise ship industry. Anybody involved in travel or leisure activities is suffering an enormous financial hit. But in the long run, if what we know is accurate with regarding this virus, and we should stay away from large crowds, and we will come out of it. Now, I think, and this is personal opinion, I think the earliest we can count on any kind of restoration of activities is Memorial Day. I had originally hoped it was going to be the end of April, but I'm seeing signs that that's not going to be the case. And obviously, the industries in Las Vegas where I live they're dependent on tourism and tourists, conventions coming in, and the excitement generated by the new stadium, Allegiant Stadium, where the Las Vegas Raiders will play. But there is hope that we're going to have an entire NFL season, and what you have going forward for you is you have hope that there's something down the road, and none of us you don't give up on something like this. You listen to the good advice that the experts have. You go on about your business because life eventually has to go on. As far as the sports betting industry is concerned, you and I have talked about this before.
Yes, Brent.
Football reigns. There's no question about it. Nothing else is even close to it. And so obviously this optimism going through free agency, the draft, and then thinking about, I think opening day is set for around September 6th in Kansas City, because I noticed that the Royals have canceled their game that night and have gone to a doubleheader on Tuesday, which obviously means that MLB and NFL officials have been talking about when the opening game is going to be held for the Super Bowl champs. But that gives us a little hope to look down the future and things. Yes, Las Vegas, the situation is bleak for VSiN, but we hope to stay healthy, and the country hopes to come out of this. But it's going to be some tough times. I think we all know that.